Hey, it's me, Chocobo, and welcome to my Loot from 1000 Undead Druids video. If you're wondering what an Undead Druid is, it is a new monster that was added with the Forthos dungeon update. As the name of the monster suggests, they are undead, meaning the Salve Amulet EI is going to give me an extra 20% range accuracy in damage while attacking them. They also have no range defense, so it's definitely better to use Void than it would be to use Hides here. If you haven't been to the new dungeon yet, it's a little bit west of the Hosidius house. I found the best way to get there is using the Xerix Amulet and then using the Xerix Glade teleport. Also, when you're killing these zombies, don't forget a slash weapon because you won't be able to cut the webs. The Undead Druids drop the grubby keys much like everything else does in the dungeon, which will give you random herbs, runes, or supplies, but they also drop a unique item, which is the Mask of Renewal. If you're curious about the Mask of Renewal, it has the same stats as a wizard's hat, and I have a clip of me wearing it at the end of this video. It is a very unique looking item, and it goes without saying it is a head slot item. Another unique loot to the dungeon, of course, are all of the 3 pages, the Tattered Sun, Moon, and Temple pages. You need 4 sets of these to complete the mini quest, and then the extra ones you can turn in for coins. If you have not completed the mini quest yet, I would recommend doing these zombies with a Salve Amulet EI and Blowpipe rather than doing the spiders. It is definitely faster. However, if you are a lower combat level and or you don't have a Blowpipe and Salve Ammy, don't worry too much about it. You can still just kill the spiders. This was my first time ever doing a loot from video on my hardcore Ironman. I really wanted the Mask of Renewal, so I insisted on doing it on this account. Unfortunately, for the sake of being thorough, I refused to drop any hard clues. This meant even the most dangerous wilderness steps. A big thank you to Kate and Douglas for helping me through the wildy. I always needed to scout because I didn't want to go there alone. Sometimes I did use my main account as well when they weren't available, but if it was a really dangerous step, usually I had them. When I was using rigor and range pots, I was able to kill about 150 undead druids an hour, which means I was getting over 80k ranged XP an hour. If you're doing the clue scrolls though, depending on how fast you can regear, you are going to lose out on some experience. I forgot to mention, I decided to use mithril darts just because I had 140,000 of them that I literally never used for anything. There is one more drop from the Undead Druids, which is the Zombie Champion Scroll. I actually still need this Champion Scroll, but it is a 1 in 5,000, so therefore it is the rarest drop you can receive. But it is something to keep in mind if you do plan on eventually getting that cape. As for the normal drops, they are pretty nice. They're not nearly as good as doing something like Rune Dragons, but if you are just AFKing and not using your ranged damage bonus prayers, you can AFK pretty long here, and most of the drops are stackable and or noted. Also, something I found kind of funny, you actually get more red spiders eggs from these zombies than you do from the actual temple spiders. Also, as an Ironman, they drop a fair bit of cosmic runes, which are quite hard to come by. Speaking of rune drops, the most common rune you will receive are actually mud runes, and the most common herbal or secondary are Eyes of Newt. If you look at my inventory, there are a bunch of items that I like to bring just for quality of life instances. You're going to want to make sure you have that slash weapon like I mentioned, as well as an herb sack, a bone crusher, a seed box, and a rune pouch with alch runes, and then holding a third rune that they commonly drop, either mud runes or cosmics. I forgot to mention also, you do get a fair bit of pure cash on an Ironman just because you get a lot of amulets of strength, defense, and magic, as well as earth and air battle staves that you're going to want to alch. Lately, my Ironman has gotten so many wilderness steps. The last 3 elite clues I have done have all had the Lava Dragon Isle step, and it's getting really annoying. But I can't complain too much because I chose these restrictions on my account, and if I want to go in the wilderness and risk my status, I always have that freedom to do so. I always did bring a prayer pot even though it wasn't needed, just in case, because if I wasn't paying attention and I quickly needed to react and turn back on my prayer, I'd have that option. Their max is only a 22, but it is very accurate, and I don't want to get hit by them for too long without prayer on. Going back to the wilderness steps, I think the thing that bothers me the most is that every single time I got one of those steps, I'd have to somehow manage to find bank space to bank all of my items, bring out all of my tank gear, bring out as many brews and restores as possible, and that whole process would take me sometimes up to 10 minutes. I really need to clear my bank up. You probably could kill these a tiny bit faster if you had an archer's ring. I'm not actually sure if it would really make a difference since the range defense of these guys is 1, but I did always wear a ring of life here just in case I disconnected. The most dangerous thing I did by far in this video was when I tellied to black chins in that last clip, I did actually forget a teleport that could telly me in 30 wild. That is really scary because if I did get full telly blocked, I normally would have boxed a hobgoblin, but because I didn't have a telly, I'd have to go all the way down to 20 wild. Thankfully though, we didn't run into anybody and it worked out. This was really weird. I started getting a ton of these grubby keys, so I definitely think they do have a more common rate from the undead druids than from the spiders for sure, because I actually got 6 in a single trip here. Speaking of drops though, I was becoming very suspicious that the Wikipedia was wrong in terms of the Mask of Renewal, because I had done over 700 or 800 kills at this point and not seen the drop yet. There wasn't an exact drop rate posted yet, but it was quote rare unquote, so I don't really know what that means. Maybe I just got really unlucky up to this point, but I was a little bit upset. Also, I apologize to anybody who only follows the Hardcore Ironman series on YouTube. I do have some gear in this video that I don't yet have in the YouTube series. If you'd like to keep more up to date with my Hardcore Ironman, feel free to subscribe to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Chocobo. I'll leave a link to that in the description, as well as it will be on the screen here. It was pretty clear that I wasn't going to get the max drop. I only had a couple kills left, and unfortunately, we did sneak in a couple more grubby keys, as well as a 15th set of pages, but no luck. I really quickly wanted to go ahead and turn in all of my pages for the coins, and I just went and quickly did the mini quest. The second time around, this mini quest only took me a total of actually 3 minutes, so at 5 times speed, it's pretty much no time at all. And unlike my main, I actually used the EXP lamp on prayer. In total, from 1,000 undead druids, I received 14 hard clues, which by chance was double the amount I received from temple spiders. Doing clue scroll openings on my Ironman is way more fun than my main, just because I'm actually trying to complete the clue box as well as complete that collection log, of course. So I really like getting all of the uniques, even if they're worth nothing, which is pretty nice. My only gripe is that I do not have any bank space for this stuff. I really wish Jagex would add a clue guild so I can add partial pieces of like the rune trimmed and stuff into a box, because I have over 150 spots that are literally filled up with just clue items in my bank that aren't completed. In total, I received 21 grubby keys. Unfortunately, I did miss the 1, so I only have 20 on my Ironman. Do not worry. I'm going to actually go ahead and sell the keys on my main account and give you an exact number in terms of money you would make if you were a normal account that could use the Grand Exchange. But I wanted to go ahead and show all of the loot I got from these 20 grubby keys. I went ahead and dropped all of the egg potatoes because I didn't really need any more 16 healing food in my bank, and it was not worth the bank space for sure. I didn't have in this price check all of the potions as well as the sharks, but you can expect me to have made about 40k each key. Yeah, about 800k total probably. Just so I could show you guys the exact amount of GP you can expect to earn, I actually went ahead and rebought everything on my Ironman's loot tracker on my main account to sell on the Grand Exchange. And as you saw in that first price check, it was about 3.7 mil, and it actually ended up selling for 3.8 mil, and that's just because the grubby keys are worth more than their posted Grand Exchange value. The second price check came out to 62k, and there was actually a couple of things left, which were a couple of worthless seeds, which you'll see here. But just to be accurate, we wanted to make sure we got every single drop. I had 2 seats left and they were only 27 GP, so not a huge deal. I also needed to go ahead and add the 33k I made from the pages, so I went ahead and added that to the cash pile now. Since we had not gotten any masters, all we needed to do now was actually sell off all of the hard clue loot, the first inventory coming out at 1.5 million. And surprisingly enough, the items actually sold for their estimated amount. I guess since I didn't get that many uniques and most of the value came from stuff like rune, it really wasn't going to shift too much in price, but I'm always surprised when I get that amount from a clue scroll. And the second price check of all the worthless pages and fire layers and stuff came out to be about 17k, and that stuff sold for about its amount. I mean, I never really expect any of this stuff to sell anyways, so our total amount earned was 5.486 million GP, which is actually pretty good. In terms of net income, you could subtract maybe about $1 mil for the cost of scales as well as the 4k myth darts that I used. It really wasn't too bad at all. That's gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon.